Okay, for those that are just joining us just now, thank you very much for attending this afternoon's demonstration of Plans Express. While you guys are waiting, I just want to share a poll with you, because what I did actually notice from the list of those that were kind of attending, there was a bit of a mixture of people who don't have it and people that do. So I just want to get a bit of a kind of a feel, kind of find out what it is that you're actually here to kind of do today. So just a bit of a poll on screen. Take your time answering. It's really just what the purposes of attending today. If you have got it, is it just a refresher? Are you looking to maybe kind of explore any kind of additional features? Are you actually interested in Plans Express to produce drawings? Or is it you're looking for Plans Express to trace over existing drawings? And hopefully with the outcomes and stuff, that will hopefully let me kind of drive this session today. So yeah, take a couple of minutes just to answer that as we're waiting. Okay, thank you very much for that. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. So yeah, already own it, probably looking for a refresh, about 45% of you. This was actually multiple kind of answer anyway, so probably some of you have answered it a couple of times. Interested in Plans Express to produce drawings, so about 50 odd percent. Additional kind of features and stuff that you don't have, 45. Interested in maybe kind of tracing over. So we'll touch on the probably a bit of that anyway. All right. Well, thanks very much for answering that, and just to kind of get a bit of an idea of whether or not people have actually kind of used CAD before. Again, just the two answers to this one. I just want to quickly answer those ones. Have you actually used CAD before? Just to kind of guess if it's a yes or if it's a no. I did notice as well, some of you who do already own it only have the kind of take-off element. So hopefully you're here to see us kind of creating new plans from scratch. And I do know that for those that maybe do already have it, there might be a slightly kind of older version. So hopefully we'll try and show some of the newer kind of features through the demo itself. So yeah, collective responses on that. Okay, just going to close that poll as well. Thank you very much for answering those. And I'll just put them up on screen. So yeah, about 62% of you have already kind of used CAD in the past, whether or not that's the Plans Express or it could be another kind of system. And obviously some of you here haven't actually used it before, which is good. Haven't been corrupted with other kind of systems in the past. Excellent. So we'll probably get away just now. Sorry, just to kind of introduce myself for those that don't or haven't spoken to me in the past. My name is Marc Brady. I work in the kind of sales department. Some of you, I noticed from your names and stuff, I've probably sold you Plans Express over the past. So we've probably already done some kind of demonstration on it. Hopefully, I can show you a little bit more today. But yeah, thanks for giving up your time to come and join us this afternoon. As I said, the GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar software we use, there is a little kind of question panel at the bottom. Do fire away questions. We'll probably collate that towards the end and have a bit of a kind of a Q&A session rather than kind of stopping it as we kind of go through. So we'll kind of have that kind of rounded. So any questions you think about as we go through the demonstration, just the fire away, and yeah, we'll answer those at the end. So just to kind of give you guys a bit of an overview of what we're actually looking at now. This is our Plans Express software. I have actually got a little kind of plan open at the moment, but I will kind of take you through kind of creating a new one. To create the new one, it's pretty straightforward, to be fair. Just up here in the left-hand corner, you can, if I just kind of drop that down, you get these kind of the functions here. So create new, open existing. You will kind of have recent documents appear in there. So if it's one that you've been working on of late, you can just open up. There is obviously a kind of a save button in here as well. You can save as. You can also save as a template. Probably not a lot of people exploit that option. It's quite good if you've got say, I guess, a floor plan you've created which is very typical of the jobs that you do. That if you save a template, it will actually sit under the new from template here. I actually did one for a builder where we actually had some starter walls he wanted to kind of create. So if you actually save as a template, it will kind of appear in here under the kind of new drawing function. So by saving there, it kind of sits in there. So quite, as I say, quite good if you've got floor plans that you tend to do quite often, or you just want to maybe kind of modify an existing one. That will speed up that process. Obviously, a closed drawing button, the drawing kind of details, so you can obviously put drawing number, title name, notes, revisions, drawn by. And again, if you're actually then kind of creating your own drawings from scratch, this is where you put your own kind of stamp on there. You're the creator, you're the, I guess, the architect, the designer, and the your details obviously kind of going there. So that could be found under the drawing properties in that button. For those that are maybe kind of using alternative CAD systems, or certainly kind of looking to pull in, if you're doing like a trace over, which some of you probably already do with the Takeoff edition, is you can import the AutoCAD drawings from here. So if it's like a DWG, which tends to be a standard file format for CAD systems, DWG DXF as well. So as you can see, there's got AutoCAD written next to it. That tends to be AutoCAD or other CAD systems. You can also export any of your drawings into those formats as well. So obviously, if you need to pass the drawings on to someone else, maybe an architect or someone else that needs access to the raw data, you can kind of export them. They can import those into their other kind of CAD kind of systems, the likes of AutoCAD, TurboCAD, Revit, that kind of thing. You can also obviously export it as a PDF if you're emailing it over and you just want to kind of do an image file, as well as like a JPEG, pretty kind of standard kind of image file. Or you can export as the 3D, DXF, and DWG files to be opened in the other CAD systems with the kind of a 3D element. There's obviously a print button there as well if you want to print your plan off. All right, so that's just within the main menu there. When you kind of create a new template, for those that haven't used it before or only using the Takeoff edition, you obviously won't have this feature. But what you can do is kind of create from within the templates a plan size. That can range from different paper sizes, A1, A3, A4. You can also do them from scale. So we do have like 1 to 15 here, and we also have one with a title and notes block. The one that I've got open on the right-hand side there is actually a 1 to 50 A1 with my title and notes block, so I can put information onto the plan on this right-hand column and also upload my own details as well. You also have a wizard system, so you can actually create the plan to your own kind of specifications, really. You can tell the software that you want to measure plans in millimeters, meters, inches, if that's how you want to do it. Once you kind of say okay to that, it then asks you what kind of plan size. So again, there's a variation on plan sizes in here. You can do A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, B1s as well. You can also start the drawing in a landscape, which is this one we've got open, or we can start it in a kind of a portrait mode, depending on the. It's good for, especially if you're bringing in a plan that's already in portrait mode that you're scanning over. I have seen them; they're not all in landscape mode. You can load it as a kind of a portrait, and you can also do your own kind of scaling factors. If you want it to 1 to 2,500, you can do standard 1 to 100, or you can even do 200 to 1. So you can do all these different kind of scaling onto the plan. But if I was doing that 1 to 50 A1 in portrait mode, when I kind of say yes, and you can also put your little kind of grids and stuff on there as well. So yeah, this is now in kind of portrait modes just here. So you can create ones from the wizards, or you can kind of create your own one within here that's already been predefined by HP Excel. All right. I'm just going to load a A1 1 to 50. with a title and notes block, because if we're obviously doing this plan ourselves, we want to put some information on here. Now, with the mouse, you will all need, if you're using Plans Express, a 3-button mouse. Seems quite silly or quite simple. We think everyone's got a mouse these days, but some people do have Macs, and they're using maybe kind of Windows on a Mac, which doesn't actually come with a 3-button mouse. The reason being is within the settings, the actual mouse functions do actually have some kind of commands or actions. The default kind of setting for the software is actually the middle scroll wheel actually gives you a menu, and you can also zoom and you can also pan. I've actually changed mine. My preference is actually an alternative right-click menu, where my menu is actually on my right-click function. So if I go in here and right-click, I can get these extra functions in here. Also, as well, as I said, you can zoom just by rolling the ball. So yeah, that will definitely help. Obviously, if you're using a laptop, it's a little bit more kind of awkward to do it with the trackpad on the Mac. Sorry, on the laptop. And what you can also do is when you push down the middle scroll wheel button, you can manipulate the drawing. It's very good. I mean, if I want to kind of zoom in there, if I put my crosshairs there and zoom, it will go there. If I put my crosshairs there and zoom, it will kind of go there as well. So wherever your crosshairs land, that will pretty much kind of take you into this section. If you're obviously kind of doing your own plans, you want to get your own kind of details onto the plan. You can insert a kind of a company logo in there. Quite simply, it says use the image button. The image button can be found under the drawing and annotation tab, just there. And that button there, the image button, if I click on it, I can now go find my own image. So that's just opening up Explorer. If I go to my pictures, and I'm just going to click on that, our own kind of logo, and then all we have to do is just kind of paste. I can just paste in there, and I can just put the HPXL logo directly onto the plan quite quickly. All right. But that image file button, you can put any image on there you see fit. If I want to put my own kind of mug onto the plan as well, I can put my own picture on there. If I want whoever's I'm doing the job for to know what I look like, I can put that on there. So within this right-hand section, you could obviously kind of put your logos on there. If you want to put a project description, so you can just double-click on that using the mouse, and I can overtype the project description to actually say, let's say it's the caps are on, flats roof, spell roof right, extension. Okay, so we can actually say that this is going to be a flat roof extension, and by clicking on the address details, I can also type in there what the address details are. I can put HBXL. We live in Bristol, and then we can pop that on there as well. So the information can be popped on there. You'll also see as well, we've got a little kind of scale bar, given the kind of a scale on there, plan size, scale size, and you can also put the drawing numbers and stuff on there as well. All right. The kind of mouse function does come second nature once you've used it. It's kind of slightly it's not a kind of a natural kind of thing to do, but once you've kind of used Plans Express quite a bit, you do get kind of used to that kind of grab and zoom and drag quite easily using the software. While we're in the kind of drawing and annotation section, where the image file button is, there's also some other kind of features in here. I mean, essentially being a CAD system, and for those that have maybe kind of used Autocad, you can just draw a line if you want to. If you just want to draw a simple line on the plan, I can do. If I want to kind of draw a circle, that will allow me to draw a circle. So it does have pretty kind of standard line drawing tools within there. As I said, the image file, There is also an insert DWG function in there as well. Also, these construction lines, and I'll be talking about construction lines as we kind of go. Construction lines, they're the bread and butter of the software. You really can't live without them. By putting in a construction line, we can actually put a number of construction lines onto the plan, and these will act as kind of guides as we go. And we can also pop a construction line. Let's say we want to do another construction line a meter from that one. If we highlight the one that we've already just drawn, and there's a little shortcut key called the R key, and if we do the R key and then the down arrow key on the keyboard, I can actually punch in a known distance. If I want to make that construction line a meter from my previous one, that will actually now do a construction line 1 meter apart. And construction lines will really kind of help you kind of set out certain walls where they should be going. I'll demonstrate it once we're in the job. It will probably make a little bit more sense. But construction lines, they can be found on the Drawing and Annotation tab, or within the right-click menu. You can actually find the construction lines here to kind of pop into the job very, very quickly. There's also an angular construction line, which again, if you're doing walls with a more of an angular kind of finish on them, then you can kind of select that as well. Also along here, you've also got some dimension tools. The one I tend to just use is the linear dimension tool, and it can be found in the right-click menu. If you want to kind of measure between 2 points, let me just put a construction line there and a construction line there. If I want to measure between those 2 points, I can use a linear dimension function. If we click on that construction line and click on that one, that will actually tell me that is the 7,209 mil across the 7.2 meters, obviously, from there to there. All right. To get rid of them, all I'm doing is lassoing parts of the plan. So if I want to get rid of that, that's going to select it all, press delete on the keyboard, and then they all disappear. I did actually open, and you can download this shortcut key guide, and this will actually tell you about the little kind of shortcut keys we've actually got within the software. Again, very handy, very helpful as you're kind of learning the software. That's the R key that I kind of clicked, and that allows you to kind of pop a relative input from one point to the next, and it kind of gives you a little description of what you're doing there. All right. To take the R key off, you press the F7 key, which will take it back into what we call a snap mode, and then that will allow you to kind of put known distances. I love these little kind of keys here. If you want to flip the walls, if you put the wall in back to front, and it happens all the time, I even do it now and again, there is a little kind of function. If you hit the F key, that allows you to kind of flip the wall. And there's also a little kind of F key function as well, which again, I'll show you in a second. But this will actually allow you to kind of fill in enclosed spaces very, very quickly. You can pop in slabs, etc. Very, very quickly. That T button is when you're kind of teeing in existing roofs, especially if you're doing like a lean-to with a teed in apex at the front. It will kind of create the valleys and stuff for you. And as I said, all I'm doing on the mouse, I'm actually using the up, down, left, right arrow to actually pop in distances. But I will kind of explain all this as we go. But that little PDF is stick it on your desktop or download it, print it, do whatever you like with it. But it does help. Right. So I'll be coming back to this section later on. I'll try and do the kind of import for those that haven't seen it, to import an actual PDF and trace over it. But what we're going to be focusing on today is actually creating a job from scratch initially. All right. Now, for those that are familiar with the software, you'll obviously understand these are all your drawing tools here. For the uninitiated and for those that haven't used it, or probably using Estimator Express, because I think the majority of you have bought some bit of software over the course. All the kind of drawing tools are within here. Now, these drawing tools here are ones that will be estimated. Now, these drawing tools will be quite familiar. If you're choosing a brick and block cavity wall, this will actually allow you to kind of estimate it. So everybody's probably familiar with this box here. It actually asks for the input of the dimensions to be estimated. So all this information is then carried over into Estimator Express. So this is basically a brick and block wall you'll find in Estimator Express, but we're going to draw it. So the walls can be found in here, consist of brick and block, brick and ICS, external cavity block renders. Now you'll see here as well, we do actually populate the software with some standard templates, so 2.4 meter high, 2.475 meter high. We also do a bit of a mix between single story and multi-story. Only difference being, if I was doing a 2.4, that will actually give me a height from the top of the DPC up to the top of the wall at 2.4. If we were actually doing we were doing a rendered wall there. If we were actually doing that as part of a multi-story, so rather than a single wall, we are doing a 2.4 multi-story. All it does is takes the height of the wall up to 2625. So it's actually allowing 225 mil for the floor that's going to go in between the bottom and the and obviously the kind of top floor. All right, cool. But yeah, within the wall sections as well, stone walls, we can clad it. We can also convert the internal leaves to timber frame. So when the software estimates it, it estimates the internal leaves, timber frame, and the external leaves, whether or not they're brick or a rendered finish. We can also do wall starters down here, brick walls. If you're doing like garages, we can do like single solid brick walls, triple leaf brick walls. We can also do internal walls, so we can draw blocks, studs, internal cavities. We can obviously drop in doors where they're going to go, windows, openings, staircases, or if we're doing like a couple of floors, any flooring system that's going in, slabbing, we can pick the specific slab types. We can also do a mixture of different roof shapes with different pitches, flat roofs, and if we are going to do a flat roof, we can also show where the aluminium or plastic roof lights are going to go, or we could be putting in Velux skylights into the estimate. If we're doing attic conversions, software is very good for doing allowing you kind of drawing out the attic space and then putting in how it's going to be converted. With dormers will be added as well as roof windows. We can do the drainage layout really. We can also put out the landscaping, so how we're going to put down paving, patios, turfing of the lawns, electrical kind of layout, so we can put in where the sockets are going to go, where the electrical hob's going to go, where light switches are going to go. We can also put in the plumbing, so where the radiators are going to sit under windows, water pipes, gas pipes, how they're going to connect to the system, pushing in showers, bathroom taps, gas fires, as well as doing any kind of additional plastering. Could be doing plastering to additional rooms, which it will allow you to do, as well as any decoration to additional rooms. And it will also allow you to do any kind of renovation work. So with Estimator Express, you can designate a wall to be renovated or repointed, and the software will then kind of pass that information over into Estimator Express. To be fair, this session today probably isn't really long enough to really kind of get under the bonnet of what Plans Express can do. I've kind of taken the liberty of actually opening an example just to kind of give everyone an upfront flavour of what the software can do. And I sometimes show this on a demo, so you might have already seen it. So this is obviously the plan we're laying out here. I'm going to zoom in. This is quite a big plan. It's an A11200. As you can see there, you can kind of section off each and every room with all the kind of doors, internal toilets. I haven't actually got any light switches or anything in this one, but we have got like a water cylinder. I can put all the dimensions on the plan. I can put where the RSJs are going to go, and you can see there we can pull out all the dimensions. I can put where the bathroom's going to go, where the bathroom suite is, how the doors are going to swing. Obviously got a little ensuite there on the top floor. We can then take these drawings into elevation. We kind of do that through the Views and 3D tab. There's a button that allows you to kind of draw the elevations. And what that's actually allowing me to do is draw a front elevation. And again, you can see the detail on there, on the windows. We can put the sills, the heads. We can put people on there within the non-estimating symbols. I can't remember where they are. Probably under here about some people or external. But you can put people or trees for scale and reference. We can do the rear elevation as well as the front and side elevations. Even got a little garage there, so we can drop in the garage doors. And you'll notice here now, we're actually now putting the building reg notes onto the plan. So this actually now becomes a full-blooded plan for getting you through your kind of planning stages. We can also do the sections. Within the software, we do have a kind of a section. This actually allows you to kind of draw sections or put in predefined sections across all the roofs, floors, walls, etc. This is actually just given a couple of different kind of layouts. This is the foundation layout, and we've also got the upstairs layout for the timber floor that's going in. And then, as I said, we can also do the external stuff. So we've got a turfed area there, and all that's doing is kind of using the landscaping and turfing section by kind of placing the lawn down here. And you can also see the drainage system that's kind of going in as well. And again, that can be done just by popping in where you want your deep manhole and your soak away and anything else that's kind of going in there as well. All right, there's a patio there that we can place. So just wanted to give everyone a bit of an idea and a flavour of that. That is something that has been done in Plans Express. Hasn't been done in any other CAD system. It's just purely kind of a Plans Express drawing. I'm just going to close it anyway for the minute and go back to our original drawing here. So what I'm actually going to draw is try and keep it nice and simple today. I'm going to draw an extension. I'm first going to put in, if I had time, you can draw the existing plan pretty much to scale and scratch. But I'm just going to put in some of the partial walls we're actually going to build the extension off. I was having a practice on this yesterday. It's quite difficult, I guess, because you've obviously all got different ideas of what you want to produce. It might be new build work, extension work, could be flat lean-tos, could be garage extensions, garage conversions, loft conversions. So again, we're only really just kind of scratching the surface on this. But the whole point of plans is really about your kind of ideas going down onto the plan. Once you kind of crack the basics, you can pretty much kind of design anything. You really can. I'll try and show you how. So what I'm going to first and foremost do is actually put in a couple of the existing walls, all right, of the where we're actually building off. So what I'm going to do, I'm not really too concerned about the dimensions of the wall. I'm just really kind of concerned about the height. So I'm just going to choose any wall really and just adjust that height there. I'm just going to take it up to 3 meters for the time being. I'm just going to accept defaults here because this wall, when we kind of lay it, I'm not really that fussed about we're not estimating it, so I don't really need to be that concerned about it. Now, to lay the wall, as I said, I'm now going to use a couple of the key features, the up, down, left, right arrow key. So if I press the right arrow key, I'm actually going to punch in 9,000, so a 9 meter length wall, and then click it OK. And that's now drawn that wall 9 meters in length. I'm now going to draw the wall going this way just a little bit. So I'm going to go up arrow key. I'm just going to put 5 meters in there, all right, and just press OK. So what that's actually representing is a corner of the existing build. We're actually going to build the extension off this corner here. I'm just kind of using that corner as reference, all right. Now, I'm not really, as I said, I'm not fussed about this wall. What I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight the wall. I'm going to right click, and within the right click function, I can actually set that wall as being non-estimated. It does say second guess me. Yes, I do. Now you'll notice if it's non-estimated, it kind of gets rid of all these little lines. That's how you tell if something's actually being estimated or if it's actually existing. You can also hover your mouse over it, and when you get that little kind of dialog box popping up, the very last point of that is estimated no. All right. If I click on that wall, right click, I can actually set that wall as being non-estimated. All right. So these walls, if I fed them into Estimator Express now, it's just going to completely ignore it. All right. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a construction line, because what I want to do, I want to make a reference along that wall there. So what I'm going to do, now what that's doing there, it's actually what we call snapping to that corner. So those that have used CAD before, you'll know that it does actually kind of snap to certain lines. So left mouse click, that's going to go there. And what I'm also going to do, I'm actually going to set a construction line. Let's set a construction line at 1 meter in from this corner. So if I hover the construction line there, press the R key and then the right arrow key and punch in 1 meter, that will actually set a construction line 1 meter from that corner. So if you want the wall to start from there, that's actually starting at 1 meter in. All right. Again, if you want to kind of start, if you want this to kind of come out to say 4 meters or 6 meters, what I can then do, I can set another construction line on that wall and then press the R key, the down arrow key, and actually punch in 6,000, and that will actually draw. I was meant to. 1 sec. No, for some reason doesn't want to. Strange. Right, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm just going to pull the wall out 6 meters anyway. Right, so let's see, kind of start the wall here. So what I'm now going to do, I'm actually going to select the wall that I want to be, I want to actually estimate. So let's make the height of the extension 2.4 meters high. We're going to do it brick and block. So I'm going to choose that that template there. So this is where we'd actually estimate the numbers on the wall. We've got 2.4 meters high. Leaf thicknesses are 100 mil. Depth of the trench is 900 mil. 600 mil across. All the footings, again, you can change any of these kind of elements. If you want to increase the overall cavity widths, you can do, and this will also kind of pick up the internal finishes. So what we can then do is actually start the wall that side. Okay. I'm actually going to pull it just on this side of that line. So what we do is we actually use the J key on the keyboard. If we click the J key, you'll see that it kind of moves along. The J key actually stands for justification. All right. Now what I'm now going to do, I'm actually going to do the down arrow key and actually punch in that 6 meters. All right. And then click OK. Oh. I did actually do the construction line. My apologies. I'm actually going to take that back. It's probably a bit too long. By the way, if you actually add a wall and you want to take it out, just highlight it, and then you can actually start again. And then all we have to do is click on the icon there, and it will select the last wall that you did. All right. What I'm actually going to do, I'm actually going to do it at 4 meters. And then we can actually pull the wall along to that one. It will actually kind of snap to that construction line. And then we can then kind of pull it back to that corner there. So that's us actually drawing the extension around this existing wall here. All right. Now, if you want to kind of see what you're actually doing, within the Views in 3D section, you can click on the 3D preview, and that will then kind of give you an idea of what you're actually building just there. So your existing walls you've got, and then this kind of new section, you're actually just building just there. All right. There's also another little view that I kind of prefer when I'm doing a plan. is I can actually toggle the actual drawing mode. Now you'll obviously see this is actually kind of the kind of show me where the trenches are going to go, the internal, external lease. If I kind of click on that function, it kind of takes it into this kind of solid grey. It's kind of a bit easier on the eye when we kind of do that, and I kind of prefer it that way. So I'm going to leave that that kind of section on. All right. Now what we can also do is we can form an opening into the existing wall we're building, and we can actually use that again using the construction lines. If I want to put a construction line there and also a construction line there, we can actually then measure between those two construction lines using the linear dimension tool. That gap there would be 7698 of wall we can actually take down. So what I can then do is go to my openings in steel, go to my large opening. I can then kind of put the 7 point, what did we say it was? 7.698. We can also put whatever height we want to take away there. All right. So it's going to be 2.2 or 2.3. And then we can drop the opening there, and you can see there that now kind of takes that gap away. Now, if all you have used obviously Estimator Express, you can also define what steel that's going in there as well within Estimator Express. So you can swap out the steel based on the engineer's report. Now, what we're also going to do in here is we're actually going to drop a floor. So within the flooring section, I can go into either the slabs or the beam and block, or if we're actually doing a cassette, or we could do like a timber ground floor if we want to as well. I'm just going to do a floor slab. I'm just going to choose the irregular shape slab, because what I want to do, I want to kind of show you this function here where we can actually fill in an enclosed space. So I'm going to go to the flooring section. I'm going to go to slab. I'm going to do the irregular shape slab, because what this has, this actually allows me to kind of place within there. If I press the F key, what that does, that actually kind of fills that gap with the actual slab. All right. What we can also do as well is we can obviously start putting in some of the detail here. We can also put in the roof that's going to go on here. Again, different types of roof you want to kind of place. We can do like some flat roof types as well as the kind of lean-tos. If you do choose a roof, then you can obviously kind of choose, after you've estimated it, it kind of gives you the option to actually do. All right. So if you are putting in a lean-to, you can just choose that one. We're going to put a flat roof in here. And what I'm also going to do, I'm going to pop a construction line from that section. I'm going to pull a construction line out 100 mil from there. Yeah, this might be 100 mil. Okay, so when we actually drop our roof on now, we can then, if you go to a flat roof, we can then say to the software, we can adjust the roof itself. We can adjust the height of the roof. Now to drop the roof on, very, very simply, click on any wall, click on one corner. I'm now going to kind of click back here to that construction line there, and then we're actually going to click over there to that corner. And that's now kind of taking that roof up there, up to the actual wall itself. Okay. Hence the reason me putting the 100 mil from that corner to that corner, so it's allowing the 100 mil there, so it's kind of flush against the wall that sits behind. All right. Then we can start putting in some of the detail here. So bifold doors. So we can go to the bifold doors. For those that are familiar with Estimator Express, you can pop in your kind of crystal doors, which I'm going to use today, but you can just put in some of the stock doors that we've got. I'm going to put in quite a big one there. Choose that one. And then you can pop that door in, whether it's going to sit that side or that side. So we've now got the big bifold in there. I'm actually going to just put some windows around this kind of corner. All right. I'm going to put some French doors on that one. So I'm going to go to the French doors, pick some of the crystal aluminium ones. Choose a style, or you can choose it by width. I'm going to put the 1.8 meter one in there. Again, choose a white one. And then accept defaults. So if I want to find the midpoint of that wall, if I press the M key, what the software does actually snaps to the midpoint. So you can see the doors there now. And what I'm now going to do is put some windows around this section here. I'm going to choose the crystal windows. I'm actually going to base this on the height initially. I think I was playing with these ones yesterday. That wasn't those ones. I had some clear ones that looked a lot better. So we can choose these nice kind of tall, and then what we can then do, we can kind of start that side, and we can kind of put these together. So if the client's looking for that kind of effect in the corner, so it's all nice and kind of clear, and we're also going to put a roof lantern on there. So very similar to when you're kind of tracing over, but this is obviously your own kind of your own kind of ideas, and I guess your own kind of client's ideas. I'm also going to put a roof lantern on here. I'm going to put an aluminium. What I'm also going to do as well is to make sure we get the roof lantern in at the right space. It's going to line up against that door. And I'm also going to put a vertical one just there. So going to the roof lantern, going to put an aluminium one in. You can put whatever width you like in there, whatever length, if you want a big one in there. And you can also choose a style, frame color. We'll kind of put a grey one in there, or whatever glass you want in there as well. So to put any kind of a lantern in, just click the roof edge. And because I've put the construction lines in there now, I can actually snap to that midpoint and then pull that down. If I hold down the shift key, it keeps it straight. And then we've got the roof lantern that's going in there as well. Now you'll notice these kind of default kind of textures we've actually got on 3D. We can actually change them if you want to. You'll see that kind of green kind of color on the textures. Under the kind of views in 3D, you can go into the kind of textures here, highlight the roof, highlight the flat roof. You'll see that kind of green section there, and then you can actually change that if you want to. I've got a black one in there instead. And it's the same if you go into the kind of textures as well. You can actually go into the walls. It's kind of giving you that brickwork. you can actually change the brickwork from within here. They do have some varying kind of the brick kind of finishes. If you want to get really clever, you can actually put your own ones in here as well. So if the client's got a particular brick they want, you can increase that. You can actually introduce that into here. All right. So if you kind of click on, let's click on that one. You can actually kind of change that if you want to. If that's an existing kind of brick, and we're kind of building the estimate in that kind of the brick finish, then we can do that. Or if you maybe they're having it kind of they haven't got a brick at all, as I did on the one yesterday. We ended up putting in, where is it? Yeah, so it's all about what does the client actually want and how do they want to kind of present it, really. So what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to get rid of the construction lines. So within the drawing and annotation, we can actually just press delete, and that will get rid of all the construction lines, and we're then left with our own kind of plan there. If you want to kind of create any kind of elevation drawings within the views in 3D, we can click on elevations. And then when you kind of click on elevations, that allows you to then kind of view the elevations from that point. How much depth do you want into the elevations? How much to the left, how much to the right? And it's a case of just clicking on a corner, and then you can kind of drop the elevations down there, and it'll draw the elevations there for you. And same for the side elevations. Click on that wall. That's how much we'll have a look at. We can pull all the way through. How much to the left, how much to the right, and then we can choose that. We could choose that as a reference, and then we can draw the side elevation just there. You can move that as well if you want to move it across. So you can do the elevations on there as well. All right. Obviously, kind of going on the inside here, you can. I mean, we're obviously kind of we can kind of create this kind of loop if this is actually going to be an enclosed space, and then do any kind of kind of additional estimating from within here as well. Just got quick question coming in. Can you separate different external looks? Yes, you can do. It's probably easier showing you on one of these existing plans we've got. So this is a front extension that's been done in Plans Express. So this has actually been done with the full project. And then what we've actually got is this is the existing kind of section, and now we've got the actual proposed. So we can actually do the original drawing, add the extension to it, and then we've then got that section down there, which is going to be the additional extension you're doing, and then you've then got your kind of proposed sections here. So you can do as many elevation kind of sections as well if you want to. If you're doing a couple of floors, so if you are doing kind of the like a little kind of new build, so I'll show you how quickly it is to do that. So we start with a new drawing, do what we did earlier. We can do the brick and block cavity wall. This time we're actually doing it as the 2-4 multi-story, so it is going to put the additional floor space on top. So it's going to start there. I'm actually going to do that wall, let's call it 9 meters in length. That one there, we'll do it 10. And then if I press the S key on the keyboard, that actually kind of closes the square, basically. So we can do, that's our initial preview. We can then go to the flooring section. We can drop in a slab. Again, if you use the irregular shaped slab, you can then just click in that section, press the F key. That fills the slab into that enclosed space. What we can then start doing is pushing in either block or stud walls. So we can start that one from the midpoint of the wall. So we can put a stud wall across there. We can also start another stud wall from the middle of that wall. We can then put in some external doors. If we want to put a front door in there. And then we can then kind of put in any kind of shape size window. It will kind of snap to where you want it. So that's your first floor. And then what you can then do is actually copy that floor. If you right click, copy that selection, and then we can move the second floor across. On that second floor, you then got an option of defining the height of the second floor. And you've also got to, you can then kind of carry over the windows. You're obviously not going to carry the floors over to the second floor. And then that replicates both floors for you. What we can then do is actually copy that over. We can move another floor down here. Now this floor itself is actually going to make up as a zero height. Oh, just going to take those doors out 1 sec. Don't want to take over any of the windows or the openings. I'm going to set it as a zero height wall. This is where the roof's going to sit on. And just get rid of these internal walls. And what I'm also going to put in there as well is, rather than a slab, we can put in a suspended floor into that section. So what we're going to do with this floor is we're actually going to put a roof on this one. We can define the pitch. Put in the typical apex on there. Give the first outer corner. That will actually define the gable. So if we've got a gable end this way, then because we've done that as a zero height wall there, that's now our roof sitting just there. And what you can also then kind of do with the plan is you can obviously click on the dimensions, and that will then kind of pull out the dimensions on here. We can also put the dimensions out on the side. What we can also do with the 3D is we can actually stack these levels on top. So what we do is, because we've done this, the wall height from a 0 to a 2625, we can then kind of create one level. Where's our levels within the views in 3D? We can create one level. We can kind of start the base at 0 up to a height of 2625. This will be level number 1. So we can click level number 1. We give it a reference. We're just going to use this back left as a reference. So we click the back left, and then what we do is we lasso that floor. So on the 3D, that then disappears. Just refresh that. So that's just got level number 1. What we then do is we actually create a second level. So the wall height on that, if I just hover over that wall, is 2.44 meters high, or sorry, 2,400 mil high. So we create a second level, which is going to be, the wall height itself is 2.4, but the actual base height is a combination of both the bottom floor, which is 2.625, plus 2.400. So the actual base height is 4.025. All right. So we click OK. Use that back one there, and then we just lasso around that floor just there. What then happens, that sits, oh, did I get that wrong? I got that wrong. I got this running the wrong way. There we go. Sorry, I got them around the wrong way. All right. So that now kind of sits on top of there. And obviously we've got this kind of third level down here. Wall heights are actually 0. Then that sits on top of there. Oh, just out a little bit. Yeah, I think that should be 4800 because it's a 2.4 meter high. There we go, that kind of joins there now. So as well as doing certainly kind of extension plans, you can do these types of plans. And if that's going to be, if you want to do any of the more kind of granular kind of details, you can do the external works. So if you are putting in a paving, you can start paving there. Finish off over there. That's going to be the paving at the back. And if you want to put any of the kind of electrical kind of items, you can do like where the double sockets are going to go. You could also put in where the ceiling roses are. That can be a little bit more kind of accurate to this. Now, by hovering over that, I can then say, right, I want one from there to go over here. What I'd probably be using is a construction line, really, so I can get that a lot more accurate. So I can put a construction line there, choose another ceiling rose, and then we can kind of line it up. And any other kind of electrical. Because we've obviously got the windows in here, we can go to the plumbing, we can go to the radiators, do the double panel radiators. I did my ones about 1.2. And then we can drop the radiators in there as well. So you can put the kind of details and stuff internally now. Right, it's coming up to about 4 o'clock, so I'm just going to quickly do the trace over for those that haven't really kind of seen the trace over, or certainly kind of looking to do that. So if you're actually starting a new plan, the trace over that I've got is this one. This is actually an A1 1 to 50. So you can start your plan A1 1 to 50, click OK, and then from within the scan and trace, we can import the drawing. It exists as a PDF, so we can choose a PDF drawing, and then go find my drawing, which is sitting on my desktop. So it's that drawing there. Click open. And then what we can then do is kind of paste that. And then that's this is now my kind of drawing that I can then kind of trace over. So again, using the construction lines, mark out the edge of the walls. Because we're going to be tracing over this one, we can do some vertical ones. And this will just kind of help you guide yourself around the drawing itself. So all we then do is choose the external walls, 2.4 meters high. And then using the construction lines, we can then move around. So the wall itself needs to be justified. So I need to kind of pull it back in so we can press the J key. And what we can also do, that arrow that's pointing on the right-hand side, that's actually the external leaf. So if we actually press the F key, that flips it around. And then all we need to then do is just go around the existing plan and then trace over the top of the already PDF that we've kind of got down there. So the process is very, very similar than creating your own ones. Obviously, if you're creating your own, if you're creating them from a plan, you've obviously got a blueprint sitting underneath there. The blue line just kind of makes a difference between what's already there and stuff that you're then kind of doing on top. And you can also put in existing walls, and then you can also highlight those walls, as you can see on the 3D. And again, you can kind of set them as kind of non-estimated, so you can kind of go around the plan and then put in bits that aren't estimated. Just got a couple of questions coming in. Obviously, we're coming up to, I'm sure you guys are busy. Just let's see if we can maybe get a couple of these answers. How would you add a gable wall to the new roof? So on the new roof, going back to well, I can do it on here. If we were putting in a lean-to across here, then by going into roof here, let's do a 35-degree pitch. So we're going to do a lean-to. So if we click on that wall there, and then we actually tell the software the width of the gable, so that's the width of the gable there, and then the actual length. When it kind of drops it on there, it kind of puts in the brick gable automatically for you. So that, again, that is kind of estimated as well. So it's looking at the overall kind of wall height, but if you start putting in pitch roofs, it will kind of pick up the gable. I think we kind of saw that on the previous drawing here, where we've actually got the brick gable at the very end. So it does, the software actually works out what area that is, and it will then be estimated as well for the brick gable. Yeah, I mean, you could obviously put in your own kind of window sizes. So if you wanted another window in there, if you go into the window section, you can go into custom size windows. So if it's a custom size plastic window, I mean, you can just put in the size of the window there. If you want to kind of make that a 900mm and you want that one a meter, and obviously the height, we can pop that in there if you want to, just there. So yeah, you can do your own kind of custom size windows. The valley, yeah, on that extension that we just done. So if we kind of put the other roof section at the front here, so what we're actually doing now is we're actually putting in an apex roof rather than the lean-to. It could be a hipped as well if you want it to be. But if we kind of click on that roof, so what we're actually doing is we're actually doing the gable at the front, and then to kind of get the valleys, what you do is you press the T button. So again, that's one of the little shortcut keys for teeing in, and then you click that ease line, and then what the software then does, again, refresh that drawing, refresh the 3D. That then kind of creates the valleys there. Okay. I've actually got an example of the job that I was doing for a builder. One sec. I might show you a couple of these examples. What? Where is it? Here it is. I think it's the Ashdale job. So this is actually a trace over of a new build. So what's kind of sitting underneath there is that's the original plan. So we've got two living spaces, one here, partition, one there, and then we've got this kind of living space just off the end. Well, we obviously had a bit of a kind of a stranger roof on here, where that's got its own kind of roof section. So all you have to then do is just kind of tee that into the existing roof shape, and then it then kind of creates the valleys for you. Hopefully that's kind of answered that question. It's quite a bigger plan anyway. All right. So we've then got the kind of valleys there coming off, and we've also got these two little ones just down here where the other kind of roof shapes are sitting on. And again, I was using a construction line to try and get that kind of gap there to kind of tee in properly. It's not a massive issue if you don't, as long as the software is kind of getting the overall kind of roof contours and shapes, then it should kind of estimate it absolutely fine. But another example a builder asked me to do was, I think it was Anthony's plan. So this was more of a little kind of single story bungalow type of summer house. So this is actually a demonstration we can do like angular walls. So again, if I kind of throw up the 3D, and we also kind of changed the texture on there as a bit more of a kind of a cladded out front, so we can actually show the client what the clad's going to look like. One of the other things that we do, and for those that maybe don't already have the 3D photo visualizer, you've probably seen on our website we kind of promote what's called the 3D photo visualizer. So what we can do is we can take this planet in its own kind of standard kind of 3D format. You can actually save these images for the client. You can save them as little JPEGs, but we do actually have what we call the 3D photo visualizer. So I'm just going to open up this this drawing with it. So within the 3D photo visualizer, what you can now do is you can actually drop in any background you want. So by clicking on the user defines, I can go into a custom backgrounds, and then I can open up my Explorer, and I can go find a different background for that. I think the one I was using was back of house, might have been that one. Maybe it wasn't that one. Yeah, it's just slightly different. Yeah, I think it was that one. So if we're actually building that in their garden, we can actually take a picture of the client's property and then pop whatever you've kind of created into the actual drawing. You can take a picture of the dog if you need to. But you can then kind of impose what you've created in Plans Express into a real-time photograph. One that I was kind of doing while we're kind of not locked down, but obviously over Christmas, I was actually working on a little kind of barn conversion. So this is the barn conversion in 3D. That's my kind of barn conversion. So again, using the roof shapes, where we can do like a barn hip roof. All I've done is change the outside texture, and then we can then kind of put it into a 3D environment. We can either use that, or we can use the 3D photo visualizer to kind of showcase that. I think that's the one I was kind of doing. So all I've done is gone onto Google, got a picture of a. I think it's because that picture that I used was quite big. So give it a second or two. If you have any more questions, fire away. But we'll probably be wrapping up in a couple of minutes. Outside textures, in what way? I mean, you can obviously change the textures of what you create. Yeah, you can change the cladding and the brickwork. So all I've done there is found a picture, popped my barn conversion in the field, and that's what it's going to like. If that's what the client's after, then you can kind of create any kind of image just by imposing your kind of 3D on there. Within 3D Photo Visualizer, you can do that. If I restart that session, so that's our kind of barn conversion there. Within the 3D Photo Visualizer, you can change some of the materials from within here. It does kind of come with its own materials. I like doing it just personally in Plans Express. So within here, you can actually go into the texture folder that Plans Express has, and you can import your own ones in here. So if I go into Views in 3D, click on Texture, I can then open up what texture I want to use. If the one's not in there, I can go and find one on the internet, put it into the file folder that they exist, and then kind of pop that one on there instead. Yeah, so you can change any of those kind of textures if you like. Also have a little kind of look, peek through the glass and stuff. What we also have within the software is the 3D architectural internal symbols. So if you want to put a sofa in there, you can actually use this feature. We can pop a sofa. You can choose the type of sofa that you're after. So a modular corner sofa. You can change the texture and the colors on there. You can change the size, the depth, the width. You can insert it as a 3D symbol. Call it furniture. And we can drop it in there, and that's your sofa in the house. We can also put a TV on the wall as well if you want to. Well, if I want to kind of change that back to the kind of brick texture, then again within the views in 3D, go into the textures, go into the walls, and then just double click on that. Change that to wall coverings. I think there'll be one in there for bricks, and then I can put, as you can see now, you've got a little library of different textures. If I want to put that brick on there, I can do it. All right. I don't know. You can't put people on the 3D view unless you do it in the 3D photo visualizer. You've actually taken a picture of the people. You can then kind of impose it. You won't be able to kind of put people in there, I'm afraid. You can put people in the elevation within the 3D or non-estimated symbols. Where is it? I don't think it's under offsets. Dry. Oh, landscape. You can put people there, but it's only going to be on the elevation. I'll put a skateboarder on there. I can do. It doesn't look great, but you can put from the non-estimated symbols. If it is an elevation, you can kind of put people on there. Cool. Anybody got any other questions at all? This is a real-time drawing as well you can do. So we're obviously kind of looking at the front elevations here. As you can see there, you've got people in there for to kind of give it a bit of scale. But what you can also pop on there is the Wessex Water Network map. So if that's an image and also an ordnance survey map, you can kind of pop them on there as well. So any image really you can pop in. If it exists as an image, you can kind of pop it on. So if you take a picture of the family, you can put them specifically on the plan. But it would have to be kind of in elevations, not the 3D, unfortunately. Okay. Just getting the lots of thank yous for the demo. So yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for attending today, and I'm sure we'll catch up very, very soon, and we'll have a conversation. All right, thanks guys. Catch you later. Appreciate your time. Take care. Bye bye.